little bit lower.
Welcome to Find Love Now. Today is going to be as extraordinary as every other session that we get to share time together because I'm here for Q&A. Let's get this party started. What has gone well through this course? What could we do better? What should we do next? Those would be the questions that I would ask. And then also answer those questions at your whim and wish, as well as what questions do you have for me? And I know, Rob, I've got yours queued up. So,
Awesome.
all right, so I'm going to open this up to invite all of you. What have you learned in this program, and how can you implement it? What can we do?
One thing I've learned, Lady Michelle, is that it's important to know what you want. And you've given us some tools, and I've done the initial round with it, and I'm eager to go a step deeper because I realize the confusing vibe I've been sending out is I'm interested in a relationship. I'm not. No, I'm not. Not at all. And then or what am I looking for? If it's not well defined, then it's just the shotgun approach rather than the rifle. And I'm a little past wanting to be able to do shotgun for the next 20 years. I better do rifle.
Nice.
That's the first thing that comes to mind.
That was good. I think we had a really good session together, Vienna. I think we moved the needle for you. That was awesome. That's awesome. Yay, I'm happy about that. It's pretty exciting. All right. Who's next? What did we do well? What did you learn?
Susie's trying to get in. I actually got out of the class confirmation of what I wanted, what I already knew, just that I was already looking at other things and not being determined to get into that little circle of exactly what I wanted. But I'm back in the circle.
Yay.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you can't talk to people and have friends, but past friends is a small circle.
Right. Good. So if I can interpret what you're saying, correct me if I didn't get it quite right. You know who is right for you and who you'd like to attract into your life.
Yeah.
What I saw when you were sharing your profile with me is that you were speaking generically. Hey, ladies. And if I was someone who, I think it said that right in your profile, or you ladies, I know you ladies need to be secure and safe or something. You'd said something like that. And if I read that you're talking to ladies in general, I would immediately say you're absolutely not talking to me specifically.
Yeah, no, I've done edits on my profile.
Awesome.
Like,
Because you want to write your profile specifically to who you're looking to attract in. Nobody else. I mean, there may be others that come in that you'll be screening through other methods. But if you're going to talk to an audience of people, you may get an audience of people responding. And that's actually not what you're looking for. Some people may want a polyamorous type of situation with an entire auditorium of adorers.
what's interesting though, you can put a specific, like, I want someone this height, I want someone this way. They don't even read your profile. I mean, I get people coming back that, nothing against anyone in their age. I get 80-year-olds chasing me. I'm saying, I say right in the profile what I want.
Right. Because they are looking at you going, oh, he looks interesting to me. So they're going to heart you. And they're at a different stage in their relationship search. But that's going to hold true no matter where you are. For example, if you are dating in the wild, organically, and you go out into the streets, the crowded streets of a metropolitan city, I liken online dating to this. You're going to get all kinds of people in the city. They're going to be hustling and bustling and going places. There will be people trying to sell you something. There will be people trying to take something. Every now and again, you might brush past someone. You might connect eyes and wow, that's a very attractive person. You might even say, hey, are you going my way? Or ask directions. Really, the online dating world is amazing because you would not have access to these people outside of your network in another way necessarily. So it's actually a brilliant tool. It's also important for you to remember to pick correctly of what is right for you and let all those other passerbys or people who sit next to you on the metro or whatever it is, let them be people who are doing their own thing in the same platform. But if they're not right for you, disregard them. So you've mentioned this several times that the 80-year-old women are chasing you. Okay, great. You're very attractive and they want to see if maybe you would consider them. And you don't need to do anything. Just like if you were in a busy populated city and you were walking by and someone went, hey, you can go, hey, or you can just go on your own path. But don't waste your time with the wrong people. Your life is too precious. And I would also shift the I want from the height, because that's just what you were saying right here, to, share, 70% of what you're looking for is about you, and or 60-40%, 30 or 40% would be about who you'd like to invite in, and transform, up level the I and you. If you want to be in a relationship with a partner, see if you can switch I and you to we, because it's already shifting that you are looking to be part of a we. So the question comes up, what if you are calling in a person who is on a level or life you are creating? So an up level relationship. Great question. Absolutely the same thing. What I think in this case, the conversation that I would have with someone asking that question would be to talk about the value that you bring to a relationship. So oftentimes all relationships go from chemistry to casual to committed. And one reason that a relationship will come out of alignment is due to, oh, no surprises here, money. Who's making it and who's paying for it? Because there's a perception that the person with the money has the power. I would like to state that this is a misconception. It's a misunderstanding. There are plenty of amazing relationships and people in the world with either no money, but they can still have amazing relationships and connections, or one person or the other, or they both. But it's always a point of contention because there's an idea that who's got the money has all the power. However, the person with all the money and all this stated power can be, King Midas alone on that hill with a bunch of golden statues. Whatever King Midas touched turned to gold. That would be a very lonely existence. So when those types of questions come up, I go right to, what is the value that you bring to a relationship? and I don't know if I mentioned this in here or somewhere else, but there was a client who came to me and she was saying that she came to me she was saying there were money problems and she didn't have money. And that's why she was asking for my help. And what we learned was that through this relationship that she was in, there were actually other things that she was concerned about. And we talked about the value she brings to the relationship. And that shifted things so much that she realized that she's worth millions of dollars in this relationship because we quantified everything. Once she understood that, she felt like she was more on an even keel with her partner. He wanted her to move in. He wanted the two of them to be living together. And when she realized that she was safe in this relationship, they moved in together. And that actually resolved many, if not all, of her money concerns and her relationship concerns. She told me, I think it was like 2 months ago, that they are engaged. So that was the greatest gift that she could give her partner, was her presence. So what if you're calling in a person who's on a level of life that you are creating, an up level? Look who you'd like to step into becoming and be that person as much as you can possibly be right now. And if you want, I'll work on this with you one-on-one, because it's actually so much easier. You just need to realize what is that person and what qualities come with that. I've got someone I'm working with who is interested in getting involved in somebody who is on the road quite a bit. And although there's certainly revenue and resource that comes along with that, the two of them together don't get as much belly to belly time, face to face. And so they need to decide, is the revenue coming in worth the time not shared together, or should she go on the road with him? So those are the kinds of things that come up when you're doing something different than the life that you have right now. But to answer the question, you can definitely step up. Just realize it will shift things, because that up level is going to mean a change in your current life status. So you just figure out what are the assets and the liabilities of that. Does that make sense? Awesome. What else?
I just wanted to say, one thing I really got out of this 6-week program is just the emphasis on, matching of values. I mean, I kind of intuitively knew that, but, you really hammered that point home, and, you made me realize how important that is. And again, it's not something you often think about until it's too late in the relationship. And then by then, everything just falls apart. So, I mean, it's really important not to underestimate, the importance of, compatible values. That's something I definitely learned.
Thank you. In all relationships. That's awesome. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Flying in and out. Hi, welcome. Good to see you. All right. So, Rob, while we're on this path, talking about core values, understanding your value system that you walk into everything, work, life, community, everything with. Knowing it's important to understand and know that you make decisions based on that value system. And then we also talked about doing that values exercise again to consider the values that are complementary to yours.
Yep.
They don't have to be the same, but complementary to yours. So you know the kind of person, again, the values of the person you'd like to invite in. And then, I mean, later down the road, we can talk about the qualities you'd like to invite in. And I'll give you an example of that. I've got a client who's been going out with gentlemen who are very described as loquacious, so very talkative. And there's reasons that somebody is very talkative. It could be that they're sharing information. It could mean that they've been leading a solitary life. And so they're listening to their own voice because that keeps them company. It could be an insecurity that they want to be showing the best they can. So they're giving all they got. There's many reasons that someone's going to be very talkative. And what she realized is that she had to advocate for herself to be heard. And that was not comfortable for her. She, through her life experience, has often felt like she needs to advocate for herself to be heard and listened and valued in that way. So she's now looking at people who have more of a sense of calm to them. And the reason that I bring this up here, just, go ahead and offer some ideas. What types of qualities does a person have if they may be talkative?
Maybe intelligent.
Maybe intelligent,
Or
right?
have multiple interests.
Many interests.
Extroverted?
Extroverted
Definitely.
people.
If they're always talking about themselves and never asking about you, they could be a narcissist.
Could be egocentric.
Yeah.
I don't always push to narcissism. I think that's actually an over labeled thing.
I agree. It's being thrown around a lot in the culture now. Yeah. Yeah.
But it could be egocentric. And in reality, we all need to be egocentric because we need to take care of ourselves first. But you're right. If they're on a date, that's the time to be curious and interested about the person you're with, not just selling your wares of here's who I am. Make it a dialogue more than a dissertation. Somebody who talks a lot, right? Maybe nervous, maybe exciting, and love people. Awesome. Also, I think someone who talks a lot can make decisions. They're going to be quick decision makers. It could be that they are uncomfortable. Nice. So now she said, I'd like to go out with some people who are quieter or more calm. So what would be, if she's going to give up this talkativeness and look for someone calmer, what do you think she will also find with a calmer prospect?
Be boring.
Could be boring. Could be introverted. Somebody who's calmer,
Could be more
maybe
relaxed.
more relaxed. That's actually what she's looking for. She wants someone who doesn't have such a high level frequency, who's a better listener, who's interested in her. Also, so introverted, somebody who is not doing the talking, may be more reserved and may be thoughtful and may take longer to make decisions. So that's what I'm referring to. It's an example of the qualities you're looking for in someone may have other types of qualities that go along with that. So we'll see what happens. But thinking those things through is bless you.
Thank you.
So returning to the core values concept and why I think it's such a great tool. Because when you, know your core values, you want someone in alignment with them, so complementary core values.
Yep.
So if you are calm and you actually love being with someone who's energetic and high frequency because you want them to be the spotlight, you also like that things are going on, but you're not the one initiating it. So they can have the spotlight. You're happy to be the behind the scenes person or the adjacent. But if you're looking for calm because you want calm and you like to be quiet and read a book and that stillness is what you value and not that high energy, that's going to change who you are seeking. And if you want a balance there, the 50-50, then that's what you're going to look for. So there are times to hold back and times to be high energy. So now, again, we were talking about how do you figure out what are the core values of someone else, right? So when you know what those core values are, coming up with open-ended questions, one, gives you a topic of discussion to initiate a conversation, and two, helps you understand something about that person. So Rob came up with some really good questions, and he said we could share them. Would you like to know his questions?
Mhm.
Rob, do you want to share them, or you want?
Tell you what, I'll share them.
Great. Just start with number one.
All right. So, I'm always looking for someone who's joyous. So my first question to them would be, what things in life bring you the most joy?
And when somebody asks you that question, where does your brain go to immediately? Oh, good. When someone, yeah, Rob, where does your brain go?
Oh, for me, being doing intellectual challenge, whether it's coding, math, or anything else like that, or watching intellectually stimulating documentaries, or reading interesting books, or being out in nature. Any one of those things.
Awesome.
Just having a lot of time to think to myself.
Great.
But that can be interest and not joy.
But those are the things that bring him joy.
Bring him joy. I
Right.
thought he was asking.
Yeah, it's
other
what
one.
brings me joy. That's
Okay.
So as if we were asking Rob the question. So now he's proposing that he not only be prepared with an answer to the question, because his date may ask back, but when you ask something that's in the positive like that, your motor neurons are getting very excited. So if you're thinking about something that's bringing you joy and it's connecting you with Rob, suddenly, Rob, you just got uplifted. Because Vienna also raises the vibe. Because if I'm thinking about things that bring me joy, I'm automatically in a happy place and I'm sharing an experience with you. That means a shared experience with you is like a happy place. Got it? So it also opens things up that if she is like coding and hiking out in nature, those don't bring me joy. I gotta run. But it's going to very quickly help Rob figure out who might be a good candidate for him. Do you see how this works? Give us another one, because they just keep getting better and better.
all right. So the next one is, what characteristics make someone your best friend? Is it how often you meet with them, or how much you have in common?
So let's put that one out to the group. What characteristics make someone your best friend?
When they've got your six, when they're always there for you, good and bad.
Yep. Show up.
Yeah. I met a lady on a dating app. The sexual spark wasn't there, but we have become amazing friends. I mean, every morning it is good morning to make sure that we're okay, and good night. Lately she's been busy and traveling. We rarely see each other, but she is always there. And I'm always there for her. And that's what friends are about.
That's absolutely true. Nice. Anyone else have an answer to this?
I would say always willing to listen and not always need to provide a fix.
Oh, good one. Good one.
And I also am wondering if when I heard I loved the question, like, oh yeah, what, yeah. And then when the two options were given, I'm like, oh, is that the only two options I can choose from? I felt like those were limiting. Those closed me down instead of,
Okay.
so maybe not everybody would feel that, but that's
Good feedback, Vienna. Rob, did you get that? Did you understand?
Oh, can you repeat that last part? I'm sorry.
So Vienna's suggestion, which is valid, is to say, ask this in different parts. I know why Rob is asking, but what characteristics make someone your best friend? And then once the answer comes up, you can add later. Is it how often you meet with them or how much you have in common? So make that a separate question.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, that was a bit of a long-winded one, I will admit.
Well, it's not the length so much, but that somehow the second half of it makes us feel like we're limited on how we can answer the first part.
Fair enough.
We don't want to narrow that down because it's such a good, juicy question. Okay, number 3, he's got 5. What's number 3?
You know, I really, I mean, as much as I like to try and explore new things, I do like some stability in my life. So the next question is, in an ever-changing world, name 2 things that you think should not change.
Your values.
Good.
I'd say friends and family.
Nice, good. Rob, can we share these questions with everyone?
Yeah,
I will put them in the chat. They're so good. You've got fans, got a fan club.
thank you.
So in an ever-changing world, name 2 things that you should not change. Here's what's I find so brilliant about this question. And here they are. And now you have sneak peek for the next 2. And that is, well done, Tina, you're on top of things. This takes a higher level intelligence to answer this question. So Marie Louise, this is the kind of question that you may use to your advantage to screen people of what type of intelligence they may have, because I know we've talked about that. In an ever-changing world, name 2 things that you think should not change. So can you follow that? That's a multi-step kind of double negative sort of, but in the positive question. And can they answer correctly? 2 things, name 2 things. So if they go off on their own diatribe, then you know that it's going to be hard to get a word in edgewise, and they're going to be writing novels while you're like, okay, it was just 2 things. So can they follow directions? I mean, I don't mean to be tricky, but can they follow directions?
It's important.
Right. Okay. In a partnership, you want to be able to say, pick me up on the corner of this and that. I'll be there at 3:00 this afternoon. Can you get me? You want them to say, yeah, I got you on the corner of this and that, 3:00. Okay. Give us number 4.
All right. I know it's already in the chat, but I'll read it out anyway. So the next question is, this goes along with honesty. When dealing with unpleasant truths, is it better to sugarcoat it or tell it like it is?
Have to tell it like it is.
So that's your answer, Tom. What's the value in the question?
Trying to see how direct they are and, whether or not they are willing to address tough subjects instead of stepping around them.
Nice. And here's the reality, and we all know it because we're all adults. There is drama in life. Is this someone who's going to be growing more drama by shaking the snow globe or throwing the furniture up in the room just to see for their own entertainment? So that's creating drama. None of us need it. There's enough naturally in life. But when dealing with unpleasant truths, life delivers a whole bunch of challenges. Are you honest with me, or are you going to tell white lies? So this is an answer to the how do I find out if someone is a truth teller? And then, they may tell you the truth or not, but it helps. And really, you want to have a partner who you can talk about anything with, because you're going to be together to face life's challenges together.
Yep.
Okay.
Is
And
it
I
number
think
fair
that's a
that-
hard, I just think that's a hard one. Because, there's sometimes you're gonna be like, somebody may not be the one to want to tell the person it might be somebody else's role to tell them that unpleasant truth, right? Or it might be that, it's too painful to tell the person just like flat out, and it's better as their partner to protect them. So for me, I'm just saying that doesn't really get at whether somebody's honest or not. I don't know how you get at whether somebody's honest or not. That might just be take time, right?
So, no, I disagree,
Yeah.
actually. I'm going to push on this one.
Okay, let's hear what you have to say.
I believe that you have shared with us that you would make every effort to make someone feel better and safer by giving a white lie, by kind of sugarcoating it.
Yeah,
Correct.
because it may not, depending upon what the information is, it may not be my role to tell them. It may be their child's role or their parents' role or it might not be better for me to just blurt it out in a way that might hurt them, right?
But it
So-
doesn't, I mean, telling the truth doesn't mean that it has to be hurtful. So your approach can be the sensitive sugar that you're putting on it. So for example, you can say, hey, that might not be the right choice. And I have a difficult message that I can say, or you can say, oh, that's ugly. Do not wear that. I mean, there's a way that you can still tell the truth
That's
without
what I was thinking.
lying. And so that's where
Sure,
I
I
was
mean,
like,
I guess this question to me can just be taken so many ways depending upon what it is, right? Like if you have to really deliver something really ugly, like if there's something really ugly and it's not your role, really,
Well,
it
you
might
have
be
an
not your
best.
role,
example
it's
in
not
mind?
your role.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
I
gonna
mean,
say-
like, let's say it's something really sensitive that maybe it's best left to, I'm just thinking of something, maybe really that it's really not your role to say, right?
Okay,
Like
so.
what?
Go ahead, Tina. Well,
What's
if
that?
she,
I was going to say, like what? The reason why I'm asking is because this is a partnership that you are building a relationship with long term. And so if I am sitting there and there's a difficult conversation, dude, if it's life or death, if it is somebody's doing so, I expect you to protect me, tell me, sell me something, give me a heads up. You may not be able to go into all the gory details. I mean, like, for example, if someone had like
We could
an
just-
affair
I mean,
and you caught them
I'm not
in
talking
the
about, I guess I'm looking at this differently because if it's your partner, it's way different, right?
That's what we're
I guess
talking
I'm
about,
looking
though.
at this as a general thing in just like when you ask somebody in general, I'm not looking at like, if you're my partner, yes, absolute truth. You're going to have to tell me the absolute truth and not sugarcoat it. But I guess I'm speaking more about just like when you're asking somebody that question, is that how they operate in life, right? Like we all know those people that are like super blunt and have no filters. I guess that's what I'm thinking of rather
Yeah,
than
but
somebody who,
But
yeah.
isn't the context of this class and the entire list of questions because you're evaluating somebody as your
Right,
potential?
no, right, I guess, yeah. I'm just thinking of the broader, just broader when you're talking about somebody, how they are in life, right? If somebody asks me that question that I'm dating, I'm probably going to think about how I am in life. And I'm a feeler, so I'm going to think much more about hurting somebody's feelings than I am going to be blurting something out in a way that could be hurtful.
right.
So, yeah.
That was actually a really beautiful discussion, particularly because it's an example. There's no wrong answer to this question.
Yeah.
Because it's an open-ended question, what we're saying is, what type of partner would you like to partner with? Are you comfortable with someone who you can come up side by side with and deal with the hard stuff? And then, like you were pointing out, when you're facing other things in the world, might it just be easier to sugarcoat so that we can get to the higher priority items, which are more relevant and important to the partnership and whatever it is you're going through? Now, Rob has a more direct approach when he's in conversation with people. So if he gets someone who's going to sugarcoat things, he may not be able to read the subtle innuendos. Whereas Marie Louise, you're going to be happier with somebody who can at least, sugarcoat that pill, please. can you just, a spoonful of sugar helps them, whatever it is. Now,
Mhm.
I'm compelled to share this story generically, at least. I had 2 clients come to me in the same week, so it was kind of fun provided there. And they each had a potentially relationship ending topic they needed to be discussed with their partner. And they didn't want to break up the relationship. One was a marriage, one was a boyfriend, girlfriend. And so they called me up asking for the 3 easy steps of how do I get through this? And I said, okay, here are the 3 easy steps. And I gave them the 3 easy steps, high level. I mean, it's specific to each situation. When I'm working with people, I will give you specifically, if you need the script, I'll give you the words, whatever you need. But the first step, structurally, it's how do you want the conversation to end at the end of it? So what do you want the outcome to be? Second, set the stage so that you're having this conversation in an appropriate environment. And that could be at home, face to face, side by side, coming from the back, whatever it is. Is it in the car? Is it with other people around? Where's the appropriate place and volume, to set the stage? And what are the words that you say? And then step 3 is having that conversation or interaction to get to the outcome that you had intended. So what I gave each of them the 3 easy steps for each of their respective situations. And the next day, the first one calls me up and said, wow, I did the 3 easy steps exactly like you said. Not only did we not break up, but we are closer than we've ever been. And just as you promised, we had great sex last night. Thank you, Michelle. Because you're up-leveling the communication, creating a more safe environment that you can have these difficult discussions. The next one did not call me the next day or the day after. It was not until day 3 that she called and she said, I did the 3 easy steps. I did them exactly like you said. And not only are we not getting a divorce, we're closer than we've ever been. And we've had 3 days of sex. This is the first time I could call you. I'm like, oh my God, I'm happy for you. So it turned out really good in both scenarios. So obviously, Rob, a very good thought-provoking question. Tina has expressed that she would like to be in a partnership with someone where she's linking arm in arm. And even if the truth is hard, she's ready to take it on in a solid partnership. She's going to be a contributor in that partnership. That's what I got from what you were saying, Tina.
Actually, it depends. I mean, it's both for me because it depends upon the topic and the situation. And
Sure.
I get it. It definitely depends. However, and I apologize, Marie. It was from when it was in a partnership. Do I tell you or not? I got passionate because I'm like, you got to tell me as a partner, because it's a us. It's you and I together. We are sink or swim together. That's how I feel.
Yeah,
And
no, I from that perspective, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
From the
And
yeah.
however, I do, depending upon the topic, there are some topics that I need the sugar. I need you to handle me with kid gloves because I'm going to be crying and you don't want to, and and I pray that whoever it is doesn't want to break my spirit either. And then there are some topics that, yeah, let's just rip this Band-Aid off. If we're done, or whatever it is. I mean, it depends. I do get it, but I ultimately do want the truth.
Mhm.
Okay, I think there's one more and then we'll move on to the next thing.
All right, last one. Okay, this is the deepest, most philosophical question. From your perspective, what is humanity's place in the universe?
And what do you learn about Rob from that question?
He's very intellectual. He is very deep in his thought, but he's going to have to be really careful looking for someone because he could be over intellectual and over deep, looking for things that may or may not concern the other person. It's like bringing up politics.
So, Tom, I would like to feel free enough to circle back with you on that right now. Because what you were sharing, though, your big win that you've learned in this group is that you really want and deserve to get what you want to have in a relationship, and you can definitely do that. But what I heard in what you just shared is dumb it down, be less than you are. Don't be so much. Don't come on so strong. Maybe she's not going to like that. And I'm going to disagree with you on that one. Rob, you go for this. This tells me that this person is going to have philosophical considerations. They might be astrophysicists. They could be interested in social scientists or social sciences. They may love sci-fi, which I think you love sci-fi. So it's from my perspective, this is a great question for you because it's going to narrow things down. Like if someone's like, oh God, he's going to ask me about humanity's place in the universe. And really, I just want to know how I can get my next Louboutin shoes. They're not a match. So I think it's going to clear things out for him.
Okay, I can
Well,
go for that one.
thank
And
you.
tell her she can't afford the Louboutin shoes anyway.
Why can't she? There are plenty of people buying the Louboutins,
No, I know.
but probably not your girlfriend based on what you just said. Because the way that you make choices and how you spend money are probably not going to be on that kind of price point for shoes.
Well, yeah, that's a funny story in my background because my late wife, we were in Las Vegas for a convention and she shows me these Louboutin shoes and we could afford it. You know, I've never told her she can't buy anything. It's, you know, just buy it. And then I was walking around and she texted me and said, guess what? I bought the shoes. Yeah. So no, whether, I guess it's a good way to feel out maybe a potential person.
Just where their decision making.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
whether
you
she
might
can-
have a Louboutin shoe open-ended question.
or she's painting the bottoms red.
Okay, so Susie, I see that you have your hand raised. I'd love to address Mel's question because she's going outside her schedule conflict, if that's okay. And Vienna, you had asked where's another good source for questions. I've put a link in the chat of the 35, 36 questions to ask to fall in love. You can certainly pull from that. Mel, are you able to ask your question with your voice? Because I'm scrolling through. How to ask someone what happened in their previous relationship without him thinking I'll reject him and still show and tell that I unconditionally love and accept him. Okay, I actually think that should be a question for much later in a relationship. Because what happened to you in elementary school or junior high or high school is not necessarily an indicator to where you're going in your relationship. And if you're looking for the person who you were with before, you may not be in the right relationship with someone you have next. So I think I've talked about this traditionally. Get through a couple of dates or at least up level the relationship a little bit. So initially you're on a need to know basis. As the relationship grows together, then you get to, through communication, trust, transparency, and respect, then you get to a point where if somebody asks you a question, you deserve an authentic, honest answer. That's when you can say, hey, what happened there? But it should be, again, with the 3 easy steps. If you're going to ask a really tough, sensitive question, make sure that one, it's just the two of you. You're having a good time. You've had a good evening or shared time together. It's very safe. He knows that he's in a good spot with you. And then ask a gentle, open-ended question of, is there anything I should know about what happened in that other, something along those lines. I obviously don't have enough information, but, all right, then I put in the link. I'm running out of time, so it's going to, please advise again, how to manage fear that he's going to keep on looking for someone. He's mentioned last year, he's dating women, but I only want exclusive dating. Okay, so I'm going to address that one and they'll go to the next. If you've been seeing this person for a while and he's saying that he's not made a choice to up-level the relationship to a monogamous one with you, then he's probably not going to. But if you would like that, let me give you the steps to get there. If you get to a point in the relationship where you are now feeling like you want to have that monogamous relationship with this partner, it's important, especially if things are chemistry is good and you're heating it up. And it doesn't have to be, sex or that level of physical intimacy, but things in the relationship look like they're going in the right direction that you want them to go, and you are interested in a monogamous relationship. Then it's slow it down, whatever's going on. It's just the two of you. Say, hey, I need a drink of water. Would you like one? Yes. And Rob, this is going to be, you and I talked about this a little bit. And then come back, parallel play. So you're sitting on the couch, could be in the car, probably better just the two of you together on the couch, not driving or with distractions. And just say, I'm really enjoying the way that this relationship is going. And I'd like to continue on this path. I'd also like to know that I don't have to worry or that there's somebody else involved in this relationship and that I'm looking for a monogamous relationship and that we're in agreement on that. Having that verbal conversation is a verbal contract. It's not to say someone's not going to go do something else and that whatever, I can't anticipate these people that we don't know, but making it very clear about what you are interested in helps the other person also say, that's exactly what I want as well. I was just unsure of how you were feeling. So laying the groundwork for open conversations helps to up-level the relationship in such a way that clear give and take and safety in a conversation, that you can advocate for yourself, you're valued and valuable and that you will be heard and taken into consideration. Those are the things that you want in a partner who you'll go through time with, who will look out for you, who will make decisions that are in your best interest on your behalf, who is going to behave in such a way that he or she is respecting the relationship, even when you're not there. But it is vital to actually have that verbal conversation and not just assume, well, we've been together for so long that should be enough.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
Okay, in the second half of this, I'm from a culture where I strongly believe in devotion, faithfulness, and no strong physical intimacy before marriage. And he may not be. However, to tell it, manage this, I believe in fun in relationships, friendship and relationships, both in responsible ways. Absolutely true. I totally agree with you. You can have those deep and meaningful connections and relationships without breaking that faith of that, those decisions that you are making. And you can have all of that. It's really a matter of communicating and finding a partner who is on the same page as you. And that's going to uplift the whole experience and the whole relationship because you share respect on this topic. Does that answer your question, Mel? Yeah. How to manage fear when the guy might. How to manage fear. I need you to finish the sentence. So fear is a common challenge in all relationships, and we want to make sure that you feel safe in a relationship. So is this an anxiousness or fear he may be with someone else? who was rejected before, maybe he couldn't trust. He was with someone before he couldn't trust. And you want to be someone, so if I've got this right, I'm going to take a leap. You can go ahead and add specificity in chat. You're looking for somebody who you can trust, who you can demonstrate to them that they can trust you. Okay, so he was rejected. Well, if somebody is rejected, it was not a match and it was just going to get worse later. But you can't see that now. And it totally hurts when you're putting energy into a relationship and someone takes that and runs off. And it's like, oh, we weren't in agreement. So really what was missing in that relationship is that on the same cycle from chemistry to casual to committed, those two people were not in alignment. One was going to committed, the other was just staying in chemistry. So really it's navigating that cycle and understanding how you can grow together through shared experiences, through education that you're sharing and learning new things together, through adrenaline rushes of trying new things. It could be a roller coaster ride. It could be finding a new book at a library. It could be trying a new dish at a new restaurant. It could be going on an adventure together, anything, and or a shared experience where you're giving together as a partnership, like volunteering or those types of things, which might be a really good way for you to build trust in a relationship and find a partner with similar values as you, Mel. So then just reinforcing that you will show up and that you are authentically interested is a way for you to say you're not going to reject him. Just because that was his experience in the past doesn't mean that that's the experience he's going to have with you, but it is natural to go and look to our previous experiences, anticipating that might be what happens next. So if you know that he has been rejected in the past, highlight what's good about the relationship that you share together. Show him why you're interested in him. Tell him and demonstrate to him how he is enough, how you value him as a partner, how he is lovable, and that you adore sharing time together. So if you reinforce the positive, it will give him a new relationship experience, which is going to shift his attention from worrying about being rejected, because you're reinforcing what's right in the relationship that you're in with him. If that makes sense, great. If you need more clarification, text it in. And Susie, Susie, there we go. You had a question. Great, we got it. Susie, did you have a question? All right, take yourself off mute.
No, it's okay.
All right, we're here. All right, we just have a few more minutes for those of you who I've had one-on-ones with. It sounds to me like this has been a very successful program. So thank you for participating in it. I would be happy to work with any of you going forward. Feel free to reach out to me if you would like to do that. For those of you who we have not yet had one-on-ones, please schedule them at theartofrelationshipping.com and we will get to spend some more time together. So my next question to you is, if I do something like this again, would you be interested in participating? Or is that sort of this isn't the time, we need a one-on-one? So
Are we
again,
talking about a level, a next level thing,
yeah,
or
we'll do
repeat the
next
same?
level. We'll do the next level thing because we've already done this. The videos are already done. You've helped me achieve my goal, so thank you. So, okay, awesome, thank you. So the question really should be, would you like me to keep you on my roster in the event we do something like this again? And that I think you would all say yes to. Yeah. Awesome. A next level, yes. Perfect. Great. All right. So Any other questions before we're done with Find Love Now? How do we get these recordings recorded? Well, thank you for helping me do that. And you, I will make sure that you all have my gifts to you of the Find Love Now books that have been written, ready for publication. I would love to get your thoughts on them that I can later use as a review once they're posted on Amazon. So that would be my gift from you for giving you the gift of the books. And I think, and you've got all the copies of the videos. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Any other questions? We got a few more minutes.
Do you want to share what dating sites you think are good, or?
I actually believe that the dating sites, they're all pretty good, but it's really a matter of knowing what you're looking for. To find the needle in the haystack, you have to have an idea of what the needle looks like, because it's really who's showing up when. It's part of it is just chance of who's showing up. I think that online dating right now is a smorgasbord, so be on more than one site. The technique that I use with people who are just getting into this is build that profile rock solid. Not so much because you need an online profile, because as Tom pointed out, some people don't even look at what you wrote. But you know what? Based on you being here, whoever is actually going to be interesting enough to you is going to look at what you wrote. So you don't need to write all of that for the world. You're writing it for your specific person who you're attracting, and then open it up, like make the geography wide, get a ton of people adoring, liking, and thinking you're awesome and beautiful and this and that and the other thing. Just let it boost your ego. Go out with the people who you find interesting, but don't go out with all of them. I mean, go out with only people you find interesting. Up level the relationship by confirming that they are who they say they are. You're not being misled in any way. And there's different ways that we've talked about doing that. And then also meet in a public place. Make sure somebody knows where you're at. And do things that you would like to do because you'd like to do them, and you happen to have somebody new and interesting who you're there to learn about, to share this new experience or whatever. If you want to go out to dinner on a Thursday night and you want to go to that cool Italian restaurant, and then you're like, oh, I'll find a date to go with me. Bam. So get into the driver's seat of the whole process and go have fun. If it's not fun, you're doing it wrong. Because dating should be so much fun. You should be going out and doing things that are interesting and getting involved with people who are fascinating. And that's what it's really about. If both are highly intuitive and the other wants to be more human, second, how to date if a person doesn't want online dating.
Michelle, can I make a couple of comments on that?
Yeah. And then
Okay,
I got my next group, so I got to fly.
yeah,
So
that's okay. First of all, there's a thing called fish bait. I think that's
Yep.
what they're calling it. Do not give any pertinent information, period, the end, until you money, your address, blah, 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 blah. I had one that gave me a song and dance after weeks, and she was stuck somewhere and needed money. Well, guess what? I had already known that. Two, a lot of the dating apps are owned by the same company.
right.
So just shop around and see. There's one up there called Fitness Singles that I've looked at. Some of those people are not fit at all. It's just another dating app.
Right. So they each have their own personality. Thank you, Tom. They each have their own personality. And if you are looking for fitness or bigger people or someone in a geographic region, or Bumble is if you're moving around a lot, Match.com if you want eHarmony, if there's more of a faith component to it. Those kinds of things, they have a personality. So you can look at what is the personality. I've heard success on all of them. When you're meeting someone organically with the law of attraction coming together, and let's say you meet someone at a party and you can say, hey, I'm so-and-so, what's your name? Oh, hi, Steve, nice to meet you. Are you here with your girlfriend or your wife? I don't have a girlfriend or a wife.
Yes.
You have a clarifying questions can happen. I was with some clients in Charleston and this came up, and there was a gentleman with a dog and they were like, show us how it's done. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, hey, cute dog, are you bringing that coffee to your girlfriend or your wife? Oh no, I'm looking for a breakfast place. I'm on my own. I don't have a girlfriend or a wife. Oh, that's funny. We're looking for a breakfast place too. Do you know of any around here? So anything you can't Google particularly. Well, he joined us for breakfast and yeah, the rest was history. But do the clarifying questions in real life with real people organically. And we'll catch the recordings. Awesome. All right, my friends, this is amazing. Stay in touch. You're all fantastic. I'm eager for each of you to report back when you find love now.